Hello, obsessed with genealogy family. How are you guys doing today? I am doing pretty well. Today, guys, as you can tell on the title, what is CMs? And we're going to talk a little bit about it. I'm going to show you what it looks like, and hopefully, we can learn something. I like to give you guys some tests or ask questions. Um, give me 1 minute. Let me pull that up. So everybody is doing well today. I hope. I pray. All right. So as you can see on the screen, that's me. And this is my brother's DNA result. So it shows you half sister. It shows you 1,829 CMs, 26% shared DNA. Paternal side, it shows public link tree, and it shows that we have common ancestors. So this is a really good example of a lot of things that we've been talking about such this far, even to the color coding. You see all of that because we are related on our dad's side, and it's his mom and dad's side. So that's what breaking down the different sides will get you exactly too many. So, oh, some of them is my mother's side too. Ah. But anyway, that does shows the two different lines or lineages that we talked about in a previous video. So if you haven't seen that, go back and watch it, please. All right, so what is ACM? And that's CM stands for Centimorgans or Centimorgans. So a centimorgan is a unit of genetic measurement. It's what experts use to describe how much DNA and the length of the specific segments of DNA you share with your relatives. These shared segments are divided up into centimorgans. The more centimorgans you share with someone, the more closely you are related. And that's the most important part. And I shared that previously in another video that the higher your CMs are, the closer you are to that person. The lower, um the is more distance between you and that person. So um you can see that me and I'm my brother, we are half siblings. We have the same dad, different moms, and we're about 1800 to 29. I'm sorry, 1829, 1829 CMs, which again stands for centimorgans. Okay, so I wanted to show you on here um, how ancestry measures theirs. So let me see how am I doing this. Okay, perfect. So shared DNA is the amount of identical DNA that you and a match inherited from one or more recent common ancestors. Ancestry filters out DNA not connected to a recent common ancestor, giving you a more accurate estimated relation. Ancestry does this using an algorithm called Timber. So you can read up about Timber. Some people like it, some people hate it, some people love it or is okay with it. Unweighted shared DNA total 1,829 cm, longest segment 164. Um, how do we estimate DNA relationships? And that we were just on there. I'm trying to just give me a minute, guys. Let me see. Trying to see how I can. Okay, so it just took me back. Um, let's see. I was looking. Okay, I see the predictions. Let me see. Okay. Okay. So, guys, this is a new recording that I'm using. Okay, and it will not allow me to adjust that. Just give me 1 minute. Okay, guys. All right, so now you see here when you click on the uh, CMs, is a hyperlink and there's a line under it. Whenever you see a line under something, that means it's a hyperlink. That means it goes to another page. So this is where it landed. And we read how do we estimate the DNA relationships. We read that using the Timber method. And then what I wanted you guys to see also was the possible DNA relationships. This table shows the percentage of time people sharing 1,829 CMs have the following relationships. Let's talk about this statement. Let's talk about this statement right here. Can we highlight that? Nope. Let's talk about that statement. That's our highlight, okay? This table shows the percentage of the time people sharing 1,829 CMs have the following relationships. So, with that being said, Ancestry uses the timber system. They also vet against how, I hope that's the right word, but they also use the information they get from people that have tested with them, which is millions. Okay? They have found that people that have tested with them, this table shows the percentage of the time people sharing 1,829 CMs have the following relationships. 100% of the time is either a grandmother that has 1,829 CMs, a granddaughter, a half sister, an aunt, or a niece. And this is in relationship to Tyrone because he's a male. So on mine, it would say half brother. Okay. So half sister, aunt, or niece. And that's correct. I am his half sister. So it doesn't say, oh, this is your grandmother, this is your granddad. You have to, if you're trying to find how that person, you and that person is related, you have no idea. I knew Tyrone was my brother. So, half brother, half sibling. So it wasn't, I didn't have to guess like, oh, is he my grandfather or he's this, he's that. Also, when you're looking at these different ones, like grandmother, well, someone, if you're 50 and they're 60, that's not your grandmother. So you have to use, I hate to say it, but kind of common sense when you're trying to figure out a relationship. That's very important. There's other factors in it to help you get to your conclusion. So we can scratch that out. I know that's not that that is not my grand. He's not he she or she is not my grandmother, right? Okay, granddaughter. Okay, all right. I know she's not my grand. Anyway, you just use reasoning. And sometimes I've had a case that I've worked on that I could not figure it out. Um, because I didn't have the information that I needed. And you don't know how I remember a time with my dealing with my husband's DNA trying to find his father. Um, it was this one young man that was a DNA match to him. And I mean, this boy would not give me any information, wouldn't give me anything to go on. Finally, after just, and I wasn't like stalking him or anything, but I would put messages in his message box. And first, it was like a adult that was managing it, and she immediately took herself off. And I'm assuming it was her mom, his mom. I'm not sure though, but yes, she immediately took her picture down and put his picture up. And then nobody would answer. You could see that they had read and nobody would answer. And just real quickly, let me tell y'all this. So then I was like, dang it, he's so close kin to my husband. I need his information to be able to figure this out. And he just would not answer me. And then when he did start answering me, he would this very vague information. And so, I just let it go. And just every now and again, I would say, hey, I'm just going to say, hey, Jay. Hey, Jay, how are you? I hope everything is doing well. He was a young man, which was odd because I didn't think he was old enough to be managing his own account. But, they allow him to do that. So, I would just begin, just hey, and I'll be like, I'm still trying to work on my husband's a minister, so I said I'm still trying to work on minister information, any information you have, just little nuggets I would just drop every now and again. Finally, he said, gave me a little information. It wasn't very helpful. I, actually figured it out on my own, and then I turned around and gave him information, and he wasn't even surprised. He already knew, or he didn't seem surprised. He seemed like he already knew the information. I'm like, dang it. So we talked about this previously. You will get those um, DNA matches that you really need them to respond, and you really need whatever information that they have. Um, but nah, he wasn't giving up anything. So yeah, so to figure out the relationship, I'm saying all that to say sometimes you need other people information to figure out like who they are. So, if you had this type of relationship DNA match and they were 1,829 CMs and they won't respond, you got to try to start figuring out, okay, how if they have a picture up, some of them don't have a picture up. But anyway, it could get very hard to figure out the relationship of somebody you absolutely do not know. I can think of another time with my cousin. He's like a second cousin to me. I'm like, what? Who are you? Where did you come from? And he was on my mom's dad line, and I'm like, this is crazy. And I'm telling you, and it got to the point whereas his wife was managing it, and then one day I just woke up out of my sleep and I just messaged her. We had talked previously, and I messaged her and I was like, look, I need to take management of his account, or I need you to give me access to his account because I got to figure this out. This is bothering me because he was adopted. I'm like, we don't do that, and my first cousin, one time removed, um, I immediately called her and I said, he's on mom's dad's side, which she is on. My granddad is her uncle, and I said he was adopted out of our family. She got so offended. She was like, no way, we don't do that, and we, normally don't. My mom was into social work as I am, and we my mom would bring people in all the time, in our neighborhood that have some altercations with their family or got put out for whatever reason, and we already had a house full, but mom would just do that. So my cousin was appalled that I could even suggest a thing, but it was real. It was true. Um, but it was nothing that we did, and we came to find out. I actually had her DNA tested because I said, "Oh, he's on that same line as me and her, and so if I test her, he should be even closer kin to her." So I did. That's why I wound up testing her, and she was 94 at that time, and she wound up being his grandmother. So, and when I told her, she remembered uh, a baby that was young, and she went back to see this baby of her son's, and he was gone. And so when they met, she said that I don't know. I'm going down this line, but going down to this story, more than I wanted to, but it's okay. It was a great story. But I drove her almost 2 hours away to visit him, and she got to meet at one time her grandson, her great grandchildren, and her great great grandchildren. So it was a blessing. And they stay in contact to this day. So it is great when you do make those connections. And I'm saying all that to say it's going to take work sometimes to real to figure out these relationships. If especially if you don't know, I had no idea who my cousin Jay was. So also you can see here evaluating DNA evidence. DNA evidence may support or contradict other forms of evidence and may point to different sources of evidence. Other possible relationships between people should also be considered. Definitely. So you got to consider all of this and, maybe some other stuff. But normally one of these are right. Um, and like I said, you have to think of different things as far as the person age. I mean, just is that relationship possible? Um, so with that being said, I do want to say one more thing. This is kind of a short video, but I want to say one more thing. Um, I do use ancestry DNA relationships and their percentage of what they think a person is, but I also do use another thing called DNA Painter, and I'm going to show you guys that briefly. Okay, guys, so this is um, DNA Painter, and DNA Painter is another website that have different tools that you can use. They have a tool called Watu, but I'm not going to get into that today. It's a lot, and I'm not a professional in that either, but I can show you what I know at a later video. Um, but this is a tool that I use with ancestry predictions of relationships. That's the best way I can put it. So me and Tyrone, I think it was 1829. So what you would do, you just would put that CM in that you have in ancestry, you will put it in here in this little box right here. So I think it was 1829. All right. So what you see here, it's a lot of information here. Um, some people don't know how to use DNA Painter, and I get it. It to me, it can be a little difficult to understand. I just have learned to use it for what I know how to use it for, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to read a little bit. Most distant common ancestor, assuming no pedigree collapse or endogamy. Endogamy, meaning cousins, marrying cousins, and all of that. That can change. That's very important. We could talk about that too at a later video, because that can change your CMs. You remember, if y'all remember on the previous video, I talked about, well, nope, y'all didn't see that yet. Okay, sorry. But anyway, endogamy will change your CMs. Sometimes it will, not sometimes, it will make your CMs higher than it should be. Okay. So assuming no pedigree collapse or endogamy and that you're related in just one way, because you could be double cousins, you could be related on father's side and the mother side. The furthest back you might need to go find common ancestors for a match of 1,829 CMs is grandparent level. And so it's telling you that, hey, look at your grandparents. And you will find your answers there, basically. And of course, me and my brother share grandparents. The connection may be closer, also depending on your family. This match could be a close younger generation relative, such as this descendant of your sibling. Relationship probabilities based on stats from DNA Geek click on the relationship view histogram. So it's saying again, 100% is either a grandparent. And so what DNA Painter does differently than Ancestry is it gives you a chart. So the higher this number is telling me 1800, I keep saying 1800, 1829 CMs, 174 people have said, um, let me see, hold on. Oh, that is a grandparent. Submissions for the relationship grandparent. So it's 174. So the idea for this is, and this is how I use it. So I'll click it. Okay, like that's grandparent. Oh, that's 174. Okay, let's see if aunt and uncle is higher. Oh, woo, that's 486. So it can more, it can be your aunt and uncle more than your grandparent. Okay, have sibling. Let's see what that says. 234. Is that the highest? Let's go back. Aunt and uncle, 486. Ooh. Have sibling, 234. Um, niece and nephew, 486. Grandchild, 174. Okay. I just want to double check that it was 1829. Give me 1 minute. Do y'all remember, was it 1829? Let's see. Because that would be way off what I have found with DNA Painter and Ancestry. They're the same. So let's see. I just want to make sure I have the correct number. Yeah, it was 1829. 1829 across 33 seconds, 26%. Maybe uh let me put the, you can do that too. Put the 26% in there. And let's see. So we know it's still 234. On the uncle 486. Mm, so I had this question one time before on a group on Facebook. 486. Niece and nephew 486. Was that the highest, guys? 486. It was the same. So the 486 was the same as aunt and uncle and niece and nephew. And then, yeah. So back to what I was saying. So I had this question that I asked on a Facebook genealogy group. And I asked the question, I said, why is DNA Painter and Ancestry relationships off? They're not the same, they're different. That was, a couple of years ago. And I'm not going to tell the person name. I'm not going to say the person name because y'all know who it is. But a kind of famous person commented on my question, and they said Ancestry has millions of people that have did their DNA testing, and DNA Painter does not. Basically, so you tell me who's the most accurate. We have more data, and that makes sense. So I know some people, favor one thing or the other, but I trust Ancestry. And I don't just go by what they say. Again, I do use DNA Painter to see what their predictions are, and sometimes they're off, like in this case, um, because I know that he's my brother. But yeah, so that's that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this mini session. What I do want to tell you guys, in the new year, I will be doing classes or workshops, is what I call them, in library, which I can go into more detail and provide hands-on. I'm a hands-on person, so I can provide hands-on workshops, and that will be coming in 2024. And so I'm excited about that. I will post information once I get all of that, all those things together. If you're close to me, you are welcome to come. And it's definitely geared towards beginning uh, family researchers. And so, yeah, so I look forward to that. These videos do not allow me to go into deep detail like hands on, but I will continue to do them and we'll scratch the surface of them. I may do some Zooms where you guys are able to um, have more time and hands on and ask me more questions. And I will be going live, um, you know, sometimes so you guys can also ask questions. So you guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Please like, please subscribe, please share. And I know you guys are just as obsessed with genealogy or getting obsessed with genealogy as I am. I started off not knowing much at all, and I know a little something, just a little bit more, and it's fun and exciting with all the things that I found, and I absolutely love it. So, guys, thank you again, and thank you for watching. Have a blessed night. Oh, say something nice to yourself. Give yourself positive affirmations. You are wonderful. You are marvelous. You are awesome. God loves you, and so do I. Good night. Bye.